You're doing something, some kind of a giveaway with air conditioning because the record summer heats are literally going to be killing people. Tell us more about that.
Well, air conditioning is a blessing, and it's the same thing with the abandoned homes. Having safe neighborhoods is a blessing, and so many people don't have that, especially the elderly and otherwise. So I'm trying to find people, and if you know of anybody who needs air conditioning, please tweet at me. We'll try to get to as many as we can. I'm only one guy, but we're figuring out how to hopefully do this at scale. But please let us know. We're looking for people who are really in mission critical need, who are, getting exhausted by the heat.
And this is amazing. So basically, you're going to be looking at your Twitter feed about people requesting air conditioning, people who are really in tough situations where their health could be seriously at risk to the point of actually risk of death. And you're going to go in and make sure some of those people are comfortable. Can't get everybody, but
well, what's fascinating is Twitter philanthropy has really taken off. It's a movement, and I would encourage everybody, please go to my profile, retweet, like the stuff. Let's get the stuff out there. It's really a wave of momentum, Scott. So to answer your question specifically, yes, I'm helping provide many air conditioning systems, but what has been even more impactful, at least for me, has been the number of HVAC professionals. I don't even know these people all across the United States and some in the globe who said, hey, we'll install the units for free. One in LA and one in, I believe, in the hurricane zones. And I'm currently having dialogue with them to see if they can do it. That's
wow.
what America should be about. That's what we should be using social media for. And as far as I'm concerned, we're really the only platform right now who are connecting those immediate needs using social media. And I think it's the way of the future.
We're going to go to Bill Pulte. He's got some exciting updates. If you haven't seen him, this will be fun. Bill, I'm amazing. Man, you've been lighting up the internet lately. You had one of the busiest days anybody's ever had.
It was insane. It was insane.
So for anybody who hasn't seen all of the reporting coming out of yesterday, start with your morning and then tell us about your afternoon, because
Well,
it was two incredible things.
I really have to start with my evening because
Okay.
I drove down on what would have been Thursday night from Chicago to Nashville, and I drove a brand new Chevy mini SUV for a two-time combat veteran who had traumatic brain injury, 100%. And I couldn't even sleep at night. I was so excited to give her this car. This is a lady who fought for us in Iraq, and she has to walk to the grocery store. She has to take an Uber to her doctor's appointments. So I woke up and we went and gave her the car, and I get goosebumps even thinking about it. I mean, she was just totally blown away.
So for anybody who hasn't seen the video of it, you have to watch the video just to see her reaction and the hug she gives you. I didn't think she was ever going to let you go, Bill. I mean, that had to be like a satisfying hug.
I will tell you, I have learned so much in the last few weeks that I never thought I would. I mean, I always knew that giving was powerful, but it is incredible now. I mean, it is such a joy to be able to give back, especially to our veterans who fought so hard for us. And I call my followers on Twitter at Pulte my friends and my teammates, because they're helping me also raise money for amazing causes. We've raised, in conjunction with the whole family, the Twitter family, we've raised over $50,000 for a colonel in the military whose belongings were burned. We've raised over $13,000 for a paraplegic Marine. It is just amazing the momentum that we have now. So yeah, that was yesterday morning, and then I'll tell you about the rest of it.
And you're getting the country a little bit addicted to the feeling of helping other people, which is an amazing service that you're doing there. So anybody who's not following you, you really should. How many followers are you up to?
We're going to be at about 80,000 a day, and you should also follow at Code of Vets, at CODE of Vets. They are the amazing veterans organization that I've been working with that are incredible. So if you guys can support our efforts, that would be amazing.
Code of Events. I will follow them as soon as we're off of here. And you actually drove the car yourself?
I did. And I got to tell you, I didn't even want to get out of the car. I just bought a Tahoe, and I said to myself, why the hell did I spend all that money? And I'm thinking of maybe selling the Tahoe, and getting this car.
It's a pretty good car. It's a Chevy?
Chevy Trex, $20,000 car, $10,000 she got in cash.
Nice. Oh, my God. Well, she was obviously very thrilled. You can see it on the video. She was crying and hugging. And it's great to see our veterans getting that kind of treatment, that kind of respect, because I think a lot of it is also just people caring. I mean, they had to, on top of the money, which of course was very important, in the car, very important, but it had to be very meaningful to her that her country cares about her.
I mean, she was in the combat zone, okay, single mother, comes back, has a traumatic brain injury from being over there, and she's left to walk to the grocery store. This shouldn't happen in America.
This should not. Now, and that was just your morning.
That was just my morning. Then I got on a plane, flew to St. Louis. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's just keep going. That's where I want to go.
And then all of a sudden, the Daily Mail came out with a piece, which was started to go viral. The video started to go viral. Everybody from everywhere was calling saying, hey, this is amazing. How can we give back? How can we donate? People just want to donate. People just want to help. And so then we went to a blight elimination zone, which is, as you know, is my passion, is cleaning up inner city neighborhoods that have gotten no attention from the government. And I love doing it. I absolutely love doing it. So we walked into the neighborhood, and Twitter co-founder and Square co-founder Jack Dorsey, billionaire, is my partner in that, the St. Louis Blight Authority. And so we were delighted to announce yesterday that we're going into St. Louis and turning around the neighborhoods in St. Louis.
That's amazing. So Jack Dorsey actually flew in to be with you at that event in St. Louis, right?
He did, and I have you to thank for it, because, and many of your listeners don't know this, because many times you're behind a lot of these amazing things and nobody even knows. But I have you to thank. I have you to thank for introducing me to Jack, because you did it, and everybody should know that. So just everybody, if you ever doubt what Scott Adams is saying or how involved he is, you really have no idea. He's an incredible guy. Scott, it wouldn't have happened today without you. And I'll tell you, there's 59 families, Scott, in St. Louis, in this area. And I show you the video. The lady told me yesterday, abandoned building's been there for over 20 years, and we knocked it down. And that's thanks to you, Scott. So from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate that, but let's keep the credit where it belongs. I mean, you and Jack funded this, correct?
Yes, but in a certain way, you funded it. So thank you.
This is Jack's hometown, right? This is where he grew up?
Yeah, see, everybody loves you, Scott. You see all these comments.
Well, don't make it about me.
Well, it should be, because, people need to get recognized for doing good work in America. And we no longer recognize people for doing good work in America. That's what I'm trying to do on Twitter. That's what you're helping me do. There are people who do acts of kindness every day, and they go unrecognized. And it shouldn't be something that we're shameful anymore. We have to promote it. The same vigorousness which we promote, all this negativity and crap that we see on TV. It's about time we get some positive news, and we start as a country promoting positive things.
And I like that we're attaching, or you're attaching emotion to giving, in the sense that giving to the veterans is sort of a twofer. You're helping a person, but you're also helping a veteran, which also helps the entire, the way we think about our country, the way the veterans are treated. You get a twofer for that. And then with St. Louis, having somebody as successful as Jack Dorsey, who came from there, still has family there, I believe, and cared enough after making his way in the world and doing spectacularly well, came back to help the people that probably his heart is very connected to, I assume.
Yes.
And so again, it's a twofer because the people in the community probably feel like, hey, everybody just moves away if they do well, and here it's been reversed. You can see that St. Louis gets the love as well as the money, as well as the great treatment of knocking down these buildings that were nothing but eyesores and crime traps.
And we did it in a big way. I mean, Scott, I don't think Jack had ever seen anything like it. And I think he was very impressed because, as many in the media were, frankly, because they've never seen so many tractors and so many haulers and so many things done in a contiguous area. You know, the government, they go and they get rid of these abandoned buildings and they do one little home here or one little home there. We went in bang, bang, bang. And, I was watching some of the newscasts just before I got on here in St. Louis. And I'm trying to reframe the way that St. Louis is thinking about it. They're thinking about it as, and you talk about framing, so it's kind of interesting for everybody. But what I'm literally trying to do is get St. Louis to reverse the way that they've been thinking about blight. And as opposed to thinking, oh, we have all these abandoned buildings, and they throw their arms up in the air and they roll their eyes and they say, oh, my God, what am I going to do with all these buildings? No. I'm trying to get them to think we got 7,000 buildings in St. Louis that are demolished. We can get capacity up to 2,000 homes a year, and we can have this blight problem solved. I said 15 years yesterday, but it can be done a lot quicker. So in real time, we're trying to change the psychology of people to know that it's achievable to be able to turn around the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, you used what I call I've referred to this before as the new CEO move, which is when people get a new CEO. It's this new CEO, if they're smart, will immediately make a big change that sort of tells you who they are. So it might be that if it's a company that's bloated, they might get rid of a bunch of people on day one. That's the negative version. Or they might bring in a big deal, or they might announce a kind of a change or some kind of improvement, so that your first impression, the psychology of it, gets on their side right away.
100%.
And when you go to these blighted areas, if you're looking at this terrible, rundown, blighted area, and you live there, you're just thinking, there are a million miles between what this land looks like and what's happened to it and where you'd like it to be. But you go in, and instead of saying, how do I solve the entire million miles, you say, well, the first 10 miles are going to tell you everything. Like, that's where the psychology starts. That's where momentum is. That's where direction happens. That's where progress happens. That's how people feel good. That's how people know there's energy. So you seem to understand this on all the levels. I talk about talent stacks, putting together ordinary talents until you have something. So you come to this with a construction development background. You bring the psychology to it. You understand the show. You understand that putting it on TV, getting news coverage is essential. It's not just the extra, and you get this amazing result here. Your effectiveness is just astonishing, and the rate at which you do these things. Is there some secret to how you can get politicians to do things without getting caught in the politics of it?
I don't know. I mean, some of this stuff just comes, off the top of my head, probably like you with your creative inspiration. I just come up with this stuff. But, I just basically try to convince the people through thinking about things differently that them as politicians need to get on board, or else why the hell aren't they looking after their citizens? I mean, why should this lady yesterday, great lady, 65-year-old African-American lady, a mom like we all love, a mom like many of us have that we love. She's sitting there, and I get goosebumps as I'm saying it. She's sitting there, and she's saying, for 20 or 30 years, this building has been decrepit next to her. So I try to really get with the human beings. These are human beings just like you and me. And am I making you cry? I don't mean to make you cry.
No, that's allergies.
I'm just giving you shit. But, you show that human impact. And I think that is probably the secret sauce to getting the politicians to do the right thing.
Yeah, plus you package it so that you reduce it to a yes/no in some ways, because the human mind can't deal with lots of complexity. If you say, well, we've got a problem and here are 15 ways you could go about it, nothing's going to happen because people can't deal with that. But you come in, tell me if I'm wrong here, you come in and say, I'm going to do this discrete set of things with a discrete set of money that I've already arranged or can arrange. It's going to look just like the discrete thing I did in, I don't know, Pontiac or someplace else. Yes, no. Is that, I'm oversimplifying, but
yeah, that's 100%. That's 100%. And, I think Naval talks about this specialization, and really being good at something. I mean, this is something that I know very well. So when a reporter tries to play some gotcha or bullshit political question, I can say, hey, look, this is really what's going on. And I think the St. Louis media knew what was going on yesterday. I've never seen, I think maybe one other event in Detroit, I'd seen that much media. I mean, it was stacked. I didn't even know there was that many media outlets in St. Louis, to be honest with you. And so anyway, so I think the media gets it. It's going to take a couple more times, frankly, of conditioning to get their head screwed on the right way. Because if we can get their head screwed on the right way in the philanthropic community, this problem in St. Louis, which has plagued a major U.S. city for 20 or 30 years, can be removed. I did it in Pontiac with the mayor. It can be done.
Right. Well, this is amazing. And I just saw before I came on live here that you made an offer. And I swear I was thinking about talking to you about this. And then I saw you tweeted it well, it was just one of the greatest ideas. You're doing some kind of a giveaway with air conditioning because the record summer heats are literally going to be killing people. Tell us more about that.
Well, air conditioning is a blessing, and it's the same thing with the abandoned homes. Having safe neighborhoods is a blessing, and so many people don't have that, especially the elderly and otherwise. So I'm trying to find people, and if you know of anybody who needs air conditioning, please tweet at me. We'll try to get to as many as we can. I'm only one guy, but we're figuring out how to hopefully do this at scale. But please let us know. We're looking for people who are really in mission critical need, who are, getting exhausted by the heat.
And this is amazing. So basically, you're going to be looking at your Twitter feed about people requesting air conditioning, people who are really in tough situations where their health could be seriously at risk to the point of actually risk of death. And you're going to go in and make sure some of those people are comfortable. Can't get everybody, but
what's fascinating is Twitter philanthropy has really taken off. It's a movement, and I would encourage everybody, please go to my profile, retweet, like the stuff. Let's get the stuff out there. It's really a wave of momentum, Scott. So to answer your question specifically, yes, I'm helping provide many air conditioning systems, but what has been even more impactful, at least for me, has been the number of HVAC professionals. I don't even know these people, all across the United States and some in the globe, who said, hey, we'll install the units for free. One in LA and one in, I believe, in the hurricane zones. And I'm currently having dialogue with them to see if they can do it. That's what America should be about. That's what we should be using social media for. And as far as I'm concerned, we're really the only platform right now who are connecting those immediate needs using social media. And I think it's the way of the future.
And the hashtag is Twitter philanthropy?
Hashtag Twitter philanthropy. You got it.
All right. Well, you should all be following the hashtag, following at Pulte, at Pulte, and at Code of Vets.
Yeah, Code of Vets. Let's get them some follows. Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing. Right. The unsung heroes are these veterans.
All right, Bill, anything else we need to know?
Let's just keep going. Let's get the momentum, keep going. Trump retweeted again today, some of that stuff, so let's just keep going.
Great. You're amazing, Bill, and we will talk to you again soon. Thanks for coming on.
Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend. Make it a great day. Do something positive for somebody else. Love you all. Bye-bye.
All right, I love that. Bye, Bill.